This one, right?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. So I have it pulled up here. Is this? Yeah. Let me see. So what I normally do is just do a PR checkout 10. I would have that. Yep. I typically like will run the code next to it and look at it just to, because sometimes you'd be surprised at how many people, not you, but how many people have like ESLint not set up or something, and they just have a
Right.
bunch of errors. um, you might have to walk me through some of the Svelte stuff too, because I haven't really used Svelte too much.
Yeah, that's fine. It's actually pretty straightforward. This stuff I haven't paid any attention to, so this is all probably boilerplate, um, Obsidian, um, Obsidian plugin template, and then changes I added to I just kind of imported Svelte, and then it probably reformatted the code is what I'm guessing it did. No, I did add some. I had to add the plugins ES build Svelte code down there
Mm-hmm.
in the build step,
Oh yeah,
and then it probably did a bunch of formatting.
nice. It looks straightforward. I've done a little bit of VS Build setup, but mostly through Vite. Export,
Right.
skip package lock. Yeah. I guess I would comment. Uh, I'll pretend like you're not here and just comment. I guess I
Yep.
don't
That's fine.
know.
That's fine.
So yeah, just
Yeah.
commenting about the pinning, but applies to all of them. So many problems. Oh wait, what?
Uh, I need to comment out some of those, which I can go. You can add a comment for that if you want. So this is essentially. So I have another repo, and I actually have. So this is where I essentially generate. This is that bookmarklet. So I have another code base
Yeah.
that does the bookmark, manage the bookmark code. So I go make changes in it, and then I run its build command, and it essentially copies this horrendous bookmark code over,
Mm-hmm.
and then I actually have to go in and tweak because there's literally a replacement variable in there for me in that, and I have to go tweak that to change that. I did just change, so you can add a comment to say, hey, you need to remove the old ones because I left the old one in there because uh I just usually I don't get rid of it until I'm completely done. I totally forgot to do that.
So this
So
is the
this is
old one.
pretty huge right now. Yeah, the one, yeah, it's literally one line. That return JavaScript is one line. So, oh wait, no, that one's not commented out. Oh wait, sorry. I did remove the old one. Never mind.
Oh,
I was thinking the diff was, yeah. So you see that, right below you see this vault name. Oh, you scrolled up. If you scroll up a little bit, that's the only thing I really have to change after building it. But anyways, what I did, so I've been moving on. So this has turn down and all that stuff built into it. So what I want to do in this, I have this working now. So the bookmarklet has turn down and my custom table markdown. stuff built into it, right? So this bookmarklet is huge.
Mm-hmm.
What I did, what I've been testing is I removed all of the markdown stuff from the bookmarklet, and that is now in my code base. And I just pass highlighted HTML back to this, and then I do the HTML to markdown transform in Obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
So the bookmarklet's a lot smaller now, and I still have to do the vault name. Like the only reason why I'm generating this bookmarklet in this code is because I want you to be able to just drag and drop that link in the settings that in the Obsidian Clipper settings, because it has your vault name in it. So that way you don't have to, I don't have to build like some configurator for the bookmarklet. So,
Mm.
so if you had multiple vaults, you would just open the settings in each vault, drag the link over to your bookmarklet, and it would work. Um, I'm testing out the passing HTML over instead of Markdown. I think that could be obviously that could be more verbose, and I could possibly run into the you've sent too much in the URL problem.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I want to do is I want to have more. I want to give people more configuration options on how they manage the Markdown that's output. So somebody was essentially like, "Hey, I want to be able to append and prepend uh, these values in my note, the note I choose. So these are the daily notes. So they want to say they say so like in mine I have a daily log header, and that's where I put all of my notes, all of my clippings.
Mm-hmm.
And before it would just append after that heading. But somebody was like, well, I want it to prepend to what's there because that's how their workflow works. The problem is that inside of the clipping, there may be an H1 in there that I just immediately, I just take the markdown, I take the HTML, I convert it to an H1 and markdown, and then I stick it into the spot where you asked me, right?
Yeah.
So then me being able to figure out where the H1 that you're appending to starts and ends, I couldn't do it. I could, like it would just be all over the place because there may be H1s in the clip data that you have already that you clipped into that node.
Oh yeah.
So now, so what I did to fix that was it's like I'm going to write out all H1s as H2s in Markdown. So there will never be an H1 from the stuff you clipped into the Markdown that gets put into the node. So
Mm-hmm.
now I can append or prepend because I know where the sections end. Um, I want to I want to build a configurator or some settings in the Obsidian Clipper that allows people to change the markdown if they want. Like maybe, like one of my ideas that I would like to do is I don't want any headings. I just want to like bold the text, right? I just don't want any heading. I'll just bold the text. I don't want them in there, and it's going to give me more flexibility on how you can format the data in your node. So,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, that was a lot of stuff about a bookmarklet that we're reviewing, but yeah, this is kind of messy right now.
So my question is, and I guess I'll read it. This looks like a build artifact. Could it be built uh, or ignored? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. So like don't move your don't well the right if you look at like put your mouse on artifact, the word artifact, and just go up a little bit and you see that blue vault name right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that has to change in the bookmarklet whenever I build it. So that's a runtime value.
Got it. Oh,
So I
okay.
don't think
I think I see.
so I don't yeah, I don't think I can I've been trying to figure out if there's a way for me to do this, and I don't think there is. Now, yeah, so I'm going to think about that more. But yeah, that's the only thing that changes in this is that dynamic this dot vault name.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess my question is more like, you said that this is from another repo or something?
Right. I would like to have it all in one repo. So that is one thing I am trying to figure out. Can
Okay.
I do it to where I'm building this and then inputting it into the main.js that Obsidian builds out. So that
Yep.
way this isn't there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That
Okay.
I'm thinking about how I could do that.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. All right.
I yeah. This one I renamed I renamed the file just because I was using that snake case like.
Oh, yeah.
So this used to all be like a bunch of functions in main.ts, and I started pulling them out into essentially classes and stuff.
This is what I was wondering if it was going to complain about this. And I'm trying to remember what complains.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
Lint.
interesting. Okay, I
You
may
just
not
made
have.
on.
So I probably don't have it set up because I don't think it was complaining on mine about it.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, I'll mark it because it's
Yeah, no,
complaining,
that's
but
fine.
it's just a. I love doing these. No, literally, no one ever like uses this. I guess I
Oh,
feel like no
really?
one ever does. But whenever I make like nitpicky stuff, if I feel
Yeah,
like it's like I did the work for you, just go ahead and do it. Makes me feel better about being nitpicky.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with this one.
So in this case, this is an ESLint setting that you're using locally, right?
I probably have the parser or the
The ES LSP ESLint
yeah,
for the Mason okay,
and it's probably just using some default set, or maybe I have an ESLint RC like in the home directory or something
right.
that's up there. Does that make sense about the narrowing?
Yep. Yeah.
This is literally like half of my code review comments are like parroting ESLint or other things I have set up. What's funny is there's a big debate right now on Twitter that I'm mostly ignoring because I haven't spent much time on Twitter lately. But like, formatted entry, it returns a promise that resolves to a string. And if I delete that,
hmm
it still knows that. And so there's a big debate about whether return types are a good idea or not. Because it's just inferring that you're returning a string here in an async function, so it's going to wrap
Yeah.
it in that. But if I change this to a number, then it automatically changes
It
this,
returns a
which like
number.
might
Yeah.
mess up your if you always expected it to and then you accidentally change it. Like,
Yeah. I would think being explicit would make more sense if you're gonna. if you're going to use a type system, then use a type system.
Well, yeah. I actually, if it were me, I do go like this only because I strive to be as lazy as possible, and that's
Yeah.
just more to more to type. But I'm not gonna even comment on it because it's trivial and doesn't matter. Why draw the line there and not the rest of my trivial comments? I don't know. But this makes sense, I think.
Huh. Well, I'm trying to look at what this actually. What file are we in?
Um, this is clipped note entry.
Eclipse note entry. It's interesting that it is. Now that I'm looking at this, I want to know if can permanent data equals. Why is it? Ooh. Oh, I get. Okay, can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
I had a comment where it says this thought, line 37, and just say, why are you using a daily entry template when this has nothing to do with the daily periodic note? This is just a settings artifact. It's probably just a settings name. I think even in the settings, I don't think it's actually no. Yeah, I gotta go look at that.
Here they come.
Yeah, you can see this one would have had a lot of stuff removed.
What are you? Sorry, one second. What are you looking for?
That's right.
Your shark Pooh Bear? Oh. Oh. Go look in your room. I think it's on your bed. I don't think it's on his bed, but that's the furthest room away from here, so I'm horrible.
So this is one of the probably larger questions I have that's maybe not necessarily, that's probably like just TypeScript idioms in this section
Mm-hmm.
is I'll let you add your note and then I'll highlight the areas. I'll talk about the areas that
Okay.
but so just do people in TypeScript, and this may not be an idiom, it's probably a styling choice, but do people in TypeScript use more um, subclassing or do they use composition?
Mm.
So, because if you look at this, the daily periodic node entry and the weekly periodic node entry, so right now it's all subclassing because I think what I have is there's a bit like there's a base period, so there's a periodic node entry,
Mm-hmm.
and they both, which is an abstract class, and then they both, and then but it implements some of the all the common code, and then the daily periodic node entry and the weekly periodic node entry implement the the areas where there's just slight differences in what's happening.
That is a that's a good question. Um, I think this is
And it may be
funny.
like if you want to, I guess if you want to, if you want to keep going through the way you were going, we'll eventually get to those files anyways, and you can kind of like I can maybe give you an idea then, and maybe you'll just look at it and go, "This is a little weird because you're using an abstract class in a weird way or something." I don't know.
Okay. Does this need to be defined? This on unload?
It may not. I think it was probably in the base. It was probably in the base Obsidian template.
What's load data? Is that just coming from the
I
plugin?
my guess is it's coming from the plugin. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. What is? Oh, okay. So you're just the fact that I'm calling out. I don't use app. I just need the type.
yeah. You could do that, and it would work. Oh, it even complains. What is complain? Is that yes, Lint?
I don't know. That certainly complained for me, and that's probably why I did it. And it started complaining. It didn't. It wasn't there for a while, and then it started complaining after one of my updates. But then I was like, "What is it talking about?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just referencing the type." and it wants me to just pull in the type and not the entire actual implementation.
That's actually TypeScript. I don't think I've ever. Maybe we just don't have that setting normally turned on. We should though.
Mm.
That's a good idea. Cool. I know that I ran into an issue with what's it called? With Vite, where Vite doesn't, because it's using like ESBuild under the covers, which is what you're using, and that doesn't actually like run TypeScript. So all it does is it tries to strip the types out, and then go. And by having it like this, it's more explicitly if you had like export app like that.
Yeah.
It would actually like freak out because it doesn't know that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of technical reasons. If app was only like an interface, it'll freak out because it'll try and export that, and it's like, wait, that doesn't even exist because it stripped that out. So you have to like explicitly tell it, and then it knows. That kind of bit us.
Hey, Daddy, sock.
Oh, you found him. Good job, bud.
No, he was in my room.
He was in your room?
Yeah.
Oh, he was in his room.
I found him, but he was in my room. Mommy said it's downstairs. You didn't bring up here. I did.
Oh,
and I was right.
Sorry.
It's fine, man.
I just noticed that that must be my setting. Because it just switched all of your spaces to tabs when I hit save.
Daddy,
Pet him? Oh, I'm petting his baby shark. That's so cool, bud.
No, that was mine.
Okay.
You can squeeze him.
Sorry.
He doesn't like it.
There's always time to pet the baby shark.
Right? Yeah.
Hey,
what was I saying?
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy.
Wow.
This was trying to fail.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was trying to break. It would look like this.
You might be able to not have this.
Hey, Daddy.
Because you're not using app or open file on write, and that's what append writer or file writer.
Hey, Daddy, it's
So I don't need to actually. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I don't have to actually explicitly call super. It'll just automatically do that for me.
Hey, Daddy.
Like since I'm not actually doing more in the constructor. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it'll just call the file writer's constructor.
It'll call. Correct. Yep.
Which then lets you
get rid of that.
Yeah.
And then the praise gets removed.
I'll leave it.
Hey, Dad, I turned your window.
Thanks, bud.
What? Dad, did you turn it on?
You cleaned your window?
Huh?
Did he say he cleaned your window?
No, I had a little heater running in my office, and he turned it off because he's so helpful.
Oh. That's awesome.
The typical rule of thumb is just to use const everywhere, and then
until it complains.
Yeah, pretty much. It'll complain if you try and redo it, and then you
exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, I just feel so nitpicky doing this on the phone with you.
No, dude, this is exactly what I want. I've done zero TypeScript in a professional setting, so I get zero feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is one of those ones where it's like, do I use subclassing or do I just compose clipped or whatever the periodic note and just call it explicitly? Because this is like it's essentially just like, oh, call this, but this is implemented in the base class. I don't know. It was all right, but I don't know. I want to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because like the interface is get all notes, and in this case, it knows I need to return get all daily notes because this is the daily note one. I don't know. I'll think about it a little bit more.
What is create daily note? Is that yours? Or is this in the?
It is not. That should be imported from um, Liam Kane's periodic note library.
Oh, got it. Okay. So my question is, does the promise on the line above the calling create daily note not resolve after the notes created
Hey, Daddy.
is necessary to what? Have a arbitrary timeout.
So, just to answer your question here, so this is a pattern I've seen people use. What I think happens is that so essentially where this gets screwed up is when you're creating the note because it doesn't exist, and you actually want and the person and the one of the settings is I want you to open the note after you've appended to it or whatever, because sometimes people are like, nope, just append to it, and I don't want Obsidian to actually show me anything, right? Like I'll go find the note whenever I'm ready. In this case, if the setting, what happens is the note doesn't get. It's like it's not in the cache at the point that promise returns. So then it's like, oh, that note doesn't exist unless you do this like this 50 millisecond um, wait to let it essentially let Obsidian do the things it needs to do after a node is created. So to answer your question, I do not believe that create node daily is actually returning when Obsidian knows and has the node in the cache or wherever it is. So that way, if you went to it immediately, it would be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just I don't. Yeah, I can look at it more though because I do agree this is something that has annoyed me, which is this code looks nonsensical because it's like I created the note with a promise. Why can't I just return it after I've waited for that promise?
Yeah. Yeah. But that explanation makes sense. And that's why I clicked through to it too, because I was hoping for some kind of documentation on it.
Right.
But all I have is the types file, not even the code to look at. I mean, I could go look at it, but I'm being lazy.
Right. No, that's fine.
Okay. So yeah, this looks good. The to answer your question though about the periodic note, like extending this abstract class, I personally like this more. It's harder to find an opinion on it though, because classes are still not really a thing that
Yeah.
especially in Java, in React, that you use like ever.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that they're fine. If I were doing this, this is how I would do it.
Okay.
And I do know
So
that
that
in
right to
Obsidian.
periodic note, if you don't have a label on it, it just automatically assumed public, right?
Yes. Like
Okay.
on right to
Like
periodic
like
note.
that one on 32. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's public. And protected is, yeah, a thing. So is private. But nowadays, there's also, this is private, but it's only runtime or compile time private.
Yeah. You can add the, what is it, a hash or something?
Yeah,
I
there's
forget.
that. But you
Yeah.
can't use them both together. I think it'd just be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
And then
I
it's
should
never
change that
used.
because it should be private.
It makes it harder to debug for you too, because you literally can't access it like from the command or from the dev tools or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then probably don't want to do that then.
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases the private keyword is sufficient. But if you
Yeah, the
were,
intention is,
yeah, if you were writing like a crypto library, first, don't in JavaScript, and second,
right.
you probably like there might be some things that you never want anyone to go fuck with in the dev tools or
Yeah.
something. I think that was the other file. I'm just gonna keep going down this line to keep it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That looks good. File. Just wondering what it's bitching about here. Just let's. All right. I will say, even in the other cases like this, you've used let more in this file than I probably have in the last year.
Okay.
That's not complaining about it. Just an observation. Not that that's wrong or anything. I know like methods like this slice are they're disrupted or not. They're, what is it called? They mutate
Yeah.
the value.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
They have
not
side
like
effects.
side effects. Yeah, that's it. Um, so yeah, not that I like. I'm not going to comment about it, but just an observation. And that
Yeah,
could
there's
just,
actually there may be actually I may be able to use the Obsidian section stuff a bit more too. So I'll probably revisit this, but I appreciate that.
yeah.
I also tried to comment it out, but comment what was going on because this is probably the most complex to follow. Although there's not a lot of comments. I'll be honest, a lot of this was copy and paste from Obsidian URI plugin.
Hmm.
A lot of the like that base 64 regex. I've never looked as to why I have to do that, but it's something I should probably look at.
I assumed that it was just from like being in the URL or like being a bookmarklet, right? It needs to be encoded.
Well, that's I have to look at what it's saying because it shouldn't. At this point, it shouldn't be doing that. It shouldn't have to do that. I The one thing I really don't like about this specific file, and I want to look at, is that this if else throw catch tragedy at the end of this file. Like this feels like a cut smell to me, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's something I'll probably have to revisit. Some of it, I think, has to do with just the way the typings on Obsidian is, because it's like, oh, it's this, or it might be undefined. Oh, it's this, or it might be null. And it's like you have to do a bunch of like, well, is it or is it not?
Yeah. So like this, right? The cache metadata or null.
Yeah, yeah.
And what is a cache?
Almost all of their things are like that.
Links embedded.
Yeah, so cache metadata has like your headings. It has sections in it. Um, front matter cache is in there now, which is awesome because that wasn't there before.
Wait, it's not the file writer. So in most of these places, yeah, you're just elsing and throwing if it doesn't
Yeah.
exist. One thing
So
you
that
might,
way, the reason why,
yeah, go ahead.
I think the reason why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to limit where I was trying to output error messages.
Yeah, you might be able to do like a. I'm just kind of doing this off the top of my head, but like
Mm-hmm.
assert not null or something like that. Is that it? Copilot might have just written it for me. No. I think like that. So let me just copy this over, just to give an example, and I can put this in the
Yeah.
code. Assert not null is defined but never used. Value. If value,
Hey, Daddy.
we'll say.
I want to see what I send you. I want to see what I send you, Daddy.
Hang on, buddy. I'm on a call.
No.
It's not assignable to type void.
Your return type is not. You don't have a return type.
Oh, right. Don't have an iterator. Don't have one. There you go. And then what's it complaining about? Yeah, it's never used. So assert not null. So then down in like, where is that? Here? Yeah. So then what you can do is you can just do assert not null cache. And now you don't even have to do, wait, let me, for example, go delete this one, go back up and delete that one. And you can see cache. Now the type is just cached metadata. It's never.
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
I hate if else's, and that's the one. Like that is one thing that, like, that's one thing. Elixir really, like, if I like, I Elixir has ifs, and you generally don't write them because of pattern matching, etc. And all I've gotten to the things like if I'm writing if else, I'm like something's wrong.
Yeah.
I probably spend too much time trying to figure out why I'm writing an if else, and if there's a way to break it out into either. I even got out my old refactoring book. What is this from? The Martin Fowler refactoring book, because I was writing a big switch statement. I was like, I know there's a way that you're supposed to like take a switch statement and turn it into um some objects and stuff. So it's been fun. Can you paste that function in there?
Yep. So the magic of this is the return type here, where you're saying asserts value is of type T, and I'm just using a generic.
Yeah. Yeah, because null is not a value, not a type T.
Yep. And it's nice because you don't even have to never have to provide the generic. It's just going to be the value that it might be that's not null or undefined.
Right.
Actually, I should maybe change this to be T or null or undefined, I think. Because you explicitly want to pass some value. You don't want it to be an optional thing.
Correct.
But the value that you pass could be undefined or null or T. And this will basically do a simple truthy check. And this asserts part just says like, this function will do nothing, but if it's definitely not T, then I'm going to throw. So then TypeScript can be assured that you threw an error at runtime, and so it can ignore the code going forward. It can ignore the null and the undefined and just say that it's T.
That's cool.
Oh man, let me just show you this real quick.
Yeah.
By the way, this is totally not even related, but I got access to Copilot for command line.
Yeah, so I saw your message about that.
Oh yeah, I already showed you them. Super simple, that one, but it's just fun.
Yeah, I like the defined one because that's one I rarely use and would always have to look up.
Yeah. It even has like a G.
No.
Oh, it didn't. What? I thought they said, or is it get? Yeah. Get, and then I can just say like, create a new work tree based on this branch. It's like just a get specific one.
You know yeah, you brought a work tree, so now I got to ask you a work tree question. The one that always throws me for a loop, and I I have to look it up every time, and I'll have to go search Obsidian because I think maybe I finally saved a note on it. I want to create a work tree for a new branch based on an existing branch. That's an existing branch that will not be the remote branch that I'm pushing up to. So like I want to create a new feature branch or a new branch that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be based on the remote UAT branch, but I'm not gonna. That's not where I'm gonna be pushing to. Like I'm gonna be pushing to a new remote a new remote based on John Test origin/John Test or whatever.
Like that? Is that what you meant? So this
I
is
think I think so.
create a new
So
branch. So the dash B will create a branch called John Test. And this is the
yep.
name of the directory to put the work tree in. And then this one is the name to base the branch off of. So it'll basically create a new branch where it's just at the same point as origin UAT.
Correct, but part of the problem is it is wanting to push to origin UAT.
Oh yeah. So
There is a way. Do you just go into it then and then say change the remote,
yeah. And
or
I
you have a
created
script that does it?
git track, which is like all it is just it gets the name of the branch that, like in that case it John Test, and then it sets the remote you can pass in origin as the second argument, or like if you wanted it to be upstream or something else, but then it will create the new branch and the dash U will set the upstream for that.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's what I'll have to go look. I did this before. I want to say there's actually a way in the work tree command to do this
There might be.
where you're like, I'm creating a new branch because you passed the dash B. Here's the directory I want you to store the work tree. Here's the code I want you to base it on, and here's the remote repository I want you to actually be pushing to. But the wording they use is not clear at all because it's like commitish, and I have to go look. Oh, maybe it's this track. No, it maybe I don't know. I don't think it's the track one. I can't remember. I'll go look and I'll message you afterwards how what I did.
Okay.
So the CL the Code Pilot CLI, that's a beta thing that you got to ask to be a part of.
Yeah, you can go sign up for the wait list. I just must have signed up early enough.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet that they were going to do it. They were like going to open it up, and then the next morning I had access.
Oh, that's cool.
But now you go. Am I in the right? One thing I was going to ask about in this is, I guess on the same line. Is there a reason you're getting at moment from window? Could it be imported instead?
So all of the things I've looked at. So essentially, Moment is in Obsidian.
Okay.
So Obsidian, like just in there. So that's everywhere I've seen people use Moment. That's how they're essentially like, hey, I'm using Obsidian's version of Moment that is already in the base install, I guess.
Okay. That must be in there. I mean, the types are set up to have window and that. I think that might be. So then just as a follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
If window is the proper. What a dumb name. But they couldn't use global because Node uses it. They couldn't use window because window doesn't exist in Node. And they wouldn't be compatible. So they settled on global this. Global this just means global in Node and window in the browser. But it's just like that way you don't have to like do a check. Am I in the browser? Use window. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Not that you would ever change, but just a suggestion, I guess.
No, that's cool though. I like that.
Actually, let me. I don't know if it'll let me do this. Oh, it does. Oh, totally screws up the. There we go. So I notice here you're not doing. You're doing. Oh wait, what is wait for node creation? That's from.
It's the one that you were talking about.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Does splice? Yeah, splice mutates.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, looks good.
I didn't use an enum, Nick.
I see. Where's this used?
Whenever you are passing in to the periodic node entry, either the daily or the weekly, you're telling it where you want to do you want to prepend or prepend or append to the header section that you configured.
Okay. So wait, this is. So the thing I'm questioning here is this doesn't really. It's a little confusing, I think, because So like if I go into here, right, and I pull in section position,
Mm-hmm.
you imported the type, so I think it's pulling in that this is a string. But if I were to use this without the type, then it's actually an object that has a prepend and an append key on it that are both strings. Oh wait.
You should be able to use either the section position dot prepend append. You could also use the string prepend, the string append, but you would not be able to use any other value.
Right. So where is that used? The like periodic note entry here, section position, right? The
Yeah.
value here
So
that it
there,
would expect.
yeah, it wants the.
Okay, so let's go to like daily periodic note, right? And
Yeah.
here. Oh wait, where's this
You'd
used?
have to find it. You'd find that in the main.ts probably.
Yeah. So daily position, that's what it was, right?
Yeah. Which is a string.
Right. I could pass in anything here, and it doesn't
Okay.
technically care because the type. Where was that? Is it clip note entry? No. What was that?
Periodic note entry. So 80 right there.
Oh no.
So right, the 20 line 25.
I meant section position. This. It's because this
Oh,
value, like the type ends up only being a string because you're saying that it's the type of section position for any of them, which is just it's either I think what you would have expected this to be is prepend or append, like the string literal
yeah.
types, but it's just narrow or it's widened to a string. And so I think I mean the easy way to do this is like that. Just
Yeah.
say that it can only be one or the other. And then when I go back to main, it's going
Foo.
to
The
bitch
foo
about
will
that.
be, yeah.
But it didn't, like, just
Okay.
making that one change shouldn't have changed anywhere, like, broken anywhere else, I don't think.
Correct. No, it shouldn't. I agree because that's what it should have been. Yeah, add a note to that, and I'll go back and look at like I got this out of a video where they like really showed how this was better than the enums. So I'd have to because they're showing with the enums they could get around the enum stuff, especially when they were using strings.
I would think, honestly. So, I mean, that's fine. The way that you're doing it, and in what was it? Clip note entry, section position. In here, if I were doing this, wait, is this used anywhere as a not type?
Yeah, right.
So like right here.
Two is, yeah.
So it works and it shouldn't be a problem. But because like you can see that it only lets it be one or the other. So you still get the type safety without like if I would have done this, I would have just had it like that basically.
Okay.
And then just use the strings because like
Yeah.
it will never this will like tell me this will always return false because it can never be John. It'll always be prepend or append. in this case, and
Okay.
so you don't necessarily have to pass that const around everywhere. You can just you still get all of the type safety with just plain strings.
That makes sense.
I'll note that. Just another suggestion. You might be able to get away without the object literal and just relying on string comparison with this. You'll have the same amount of type safety. Cool. I feel like I'm changing a bunch of code and I don't mean to.
That's all right.
Yeah, and these should be automatically updated to be one or the other there. So it's nice because it just kind of slots right in. Ooh. .svelte files. I'm pretty sure I don't have anything set up for. Oh, maybe. Oh. Yeah.
So it looks like you have it.
Nice. All right.
Oh, this is which file are we looking at? Oh, this is the bookmark generator, bookmarklet generator section.
Not that I'm going to set that up now. I just wanted to install it so I can later.
So since you're in the settings section, this is the component that's going to show the area where it's like, hey, here's the little bookmark that you need to drag to your bar and all that stuff.
Uh-huh. This is nice. This looks very similar to a
Astro,
yeah.
yeah. So this one, yeah, the common settings one is the section that has some items that are not associated with periodic notes, but more like, hey, what tags do you want on the clippings, etc.
Had to do a tabs versus spaces comment.
Hey, what's the preferred one? I always forget. One's good for disabilities. I think it's space. You should use spaces, or is it you're supposed to use tabs?
You're supposed to use tabs. Is the prettier is switching to default to tabs.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Like, so I have a settings store where that'll be the settings store file will be the one that's kind of the weirdest. But yeah, this is pretty much just HTML, and it's just binding all those config values to the settings store.
Mm-hmm.
I plan to break out some of these components into like just Obsidian input components because these are all like the standard Obsidian classes that you would need to get the benefits of themes and stuff. So this is the entry file for the settings, um, or the entry svelte for the settings, I believe. What's the name of this file?
Settings
Setting.
component.
Oh, yeah. So it pulls in the daily settings group, the weekly settings group, common settings group, and the bookmark settings group, and it wants to know what the vault name is, so it can then pass it to its child component. So this is a Svelte store, and all I'm doing here is, so this one's a little weird because, so I export the settings, the settings value up there, which is a writable store and it's going to store a type of Obsidian Clipper settings. And then I export an init function that is essentially almost like a singleton, right? That's essentially like, hey, you need to initialize if the setting store isn't initialized, or if the setting store is initialized already, then just return. Otherwise, I need to set up the store. Now, the reason why I did this is because if you look at what I'm doing on line 11, I'm essentially what is it called? Is it decomposing? What is it called when you do that? You write your
Destructuring.
comment. Destructuring the call to writable, because the call to writable, the Svelte store writable, essentially says I'm going to take the value or the object that you've given me, and I'm going to wrap it in the interface that I need it to be there, which is there needs to be a subscribe method, an update method, or there has to be a subscribe and a set method, and there can be an update method.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm destructuring that because what I want to do is I want to override the set method, so that way, whenever one of the bound input values in the spell component saves the data to the store. So it's like, oh, I changed my header. It automatically saves it to the store. Well, what I want to do is I say, yeah, I want you to save it to the store, but then I also need to save it to the backing object that Obsidian is writing into your settings so they're saved. So that's what that plugin.save settings does.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's just something that I figured out because the thing we complained is like, hey, you needed the type, and I kept putting it on the outside. It's like you can't do that. And then
Yeah.
I saw somebody else's code somewhere. It was like, oh, well, no, actually, you can put those on the inside if you're also importing, um, non-types.
This is how I would have written it, and you just saved
Okay,
me a ton of time because why duplicate?
cool.
So that's awesome.
That's right. I'm glad you learned something because I'm learning stuff. Are you going to publish this video? You should.
I can.
I'm okay if you're okay with your shark petting and stuff. I think it's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I can publish it. Trailing comma. This is ridiculous because this is like you can do comments and stuff, and they are actually permitted.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a JSON C file or a JSON 5 file. So that's I'm not
Okay.
I'm not gonna bitch about that for sure. I will bitch about this tab here.
I don't know why it's interesting because when I initially opened this file, which was pre-generated, I think, from the template that I used,
Yeah.
like the Obsidian plugin template, it was hard for me to follow at first because there was like weird tabs in there, and I thought it was like structured objects, but then I realized like no, these are all supposed to be on the same line.
Oh yeah.
This is awesome, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah. So I think I don't know. Do you want me to put? I'll put request changes. I think there's one or two issues in there.
Yeah, no,
But
that's absolutely. I'm gonna definitely go through and update all those, and I'm really glad we were able to get this done today because now I can like get a bunch of the other stuff that I was doing in there as well, and maybe get a release out.
submit. Cool.
Cool. Well, thanks again, man.
Yeah. No. Thank you. That was fun.
All right.
I was just
All right.
looking.
I'll let you go enjoy your weekend and go pet the baby shark some more.
Sounds good. Yeah. I'm gonna try and set up the project a little bit more to actually like play with this. Meaning like get Svelte running properly and see if I can build the plugin and install it from source and play with it.
Cool. Awesome. Let me know how it goes. I
Cool.
think, yeah. Well, yeah, you shouldn't need the bookmark code, but if you do, let me know, and it's a public repo.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I don't think you would need it.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Later,
Have a
man.
good day.
You too. Bye.
See ya.